to Live in the Solution. I'm your astrologer and tarot card reader, Mary Trimble, here with your readings for, what is it, October the 14th through October the 20th. And thank you guys. Thank you for all the likes, shares, comments, and the new subscribers. If you're returning, thank you so much for your loyalty and support of this channel. And if you're new, welcome. I hope you love these readings, or like them at least, and that you will come back. Now, these are general readings, guys, and they are for the collective. So keep in mind that sometimes Spirit needs to give a specific message to someone. So take what resonates and leave the rest. And if you would like a more personalized, tailored reading, you may click on this link here or go to my website. All the links will be below. This is for your sun, moon, and rising too. So those links will be in the show more section below too. I have a Facebook group and I do a live stream in that Facebook group every 2 weeks. I'm a little late on it. I'm hoping to be able to do one tomorrow, Sunday. I'm hoping that some of you get this in time. I have been extremely busy this week, kind of organizing and getting everything ready, and I've been doing some reading, so I'm very grateful. Thank you. Now, what else? Another way to support me, guys, is through Patreon, and click on that link for it or look for it below. Check it out anywhere. I usually post things there that I don't post anywhere else, although I've been really laxy-daisy on my posts this week because things have been like, I've got to get stuff sorted. Anyway, lastly, these readings come in 3 sections, guys. This, the intro, and I'll put a skip time to this if you're checking out your sun, moon, and rising below. Then there is the astrological report, and I'll put another skip time if you're checking out your sun, moon, and rising. And then the tarot reading, the tarot card reading. So without further ado, let's go to the astrology report, shall we? Hello and welcome to Live in the Solution. This is your astrology report for the week of October the 14th through the 20th. There's not a lot going on. On Monday the 14th, the sun is square to Pluto, right? Well, that's kind of been happening anyway, particularly over the full moon on Sunday. It's forming a T-square, and that's, if you want to check out last week's, check out, because I talked about that last week. So the sun square Pluto, right? The sun is the life force. It's, you know, the light, it's energy, it's joy, right? And Pluto is darkness and deep, and and from the underworld, right? So it's like, this is like dark versus light, right? Good versus evil. We're going to have kind of a tumultuous time with this. Like sometimes it's like, oh, so much stuff is happening and, you know, you can't cope. And then something wonderful pops up. We're still feeling this beautiful sextile between the sun and Jupiter. So we're still feeling that. We'll be feeling that for most of the week. So that's really nice. You know, bursts of abundance are coming in. So it's lovely to feel that. Now, so let me give you an example of how Pluto square the sun is for me. Like, I've been really deeply organizing and getting rid of all my old paperwork, you know, taxes from years and years. So shredding and sorting. And the more you sort, the worse your place gets. And I had some help, so it was lovely. And so that was really lovely. Honestly, that was amazing to have someone help me. So then that starts like, oh, let me move this around, let me move that around. Then I'm going through photographs and I'm crying because I'm seeing my mom and my brother and reading cards that he'd sent me. And then, you know, and then in the middle of that, somebody contacts me for a reading, or so it's very, you know, opposing forces, if you will, are coming in and out. But it's almost like you feel the appreciation more with it. So, squares are motivating. So it kind of gets you up. Listen, you can be optimistic, but there's no point. Optimism without action is futile, right? It's foolhardy. So it's important to be optimistic, but it's important for our actions to match that optimism. We have to kind of get up and do something. And no matter what we're doing, it's shaking up the energy, right? It's like quantum physics, it's shaking it up so something good comes in. Now, on Wednesday, Mercury is in this beautiful relationship with Neptune, right? It's a trine. It's gorgeous. So you've got this, Mercury is the planet of communication, intellect, writing, publishing, right? And Neptune is this creative, ethereal, spiritual planet, but it can also have a negative effect. But because this is a trine, it's going to bring out its best qualities, right? So it's very good to meditate. It's very good to write, anything creative, visual arts. It's a brilliant time to do that. And what's really beautiful about this trine is that at the same time, Saturn is sextiling both Mercury and Neptune. So Saturn's bringing in structure, because Neptune can take you on a journey in your head, and you're like, before you know it, you start thinking about something, and then before you know it, 3 hours have gone by, and it's like, oh my God, I got to do all this. That was me today. But with Saturn at play, there's some structure there. Saturn's like, come on, get it together. That's great. You're having those fabulous, incredible, creative ideas. Yeah, come on, let's get some action in there. Let's do it. Come back to the ground and start doing what you're supposed to do. So it's not. There's not loads of things going on in the celestial sky this week, but I think really beautiful things. And we're feeling the full moon for this week too. For most of the week, we're going to feel that. And so it's great, darling. It's not too heavy, and it's just beautiful. So I wish you a wonderful, abundant week and filled with action and positivity. And let's go to the tarot card reading, shall we? Hello, Leo, and welcome to your reading for October the 14th through October the 20th. So this is one last shuffle. I am honouring my brother, Michael, who recently passed away, with his fez hat. He's had this for decades, or he had this for decades. I don't even remember when, but I just received it. My other brother had sent it to me, so I'm wearing it in his honor. I meant to wear it for the other 4, but I didn't. But I'm wearing it now in honor of my brother Michael. Okay, so what wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Leo for this coming week of the 14th of October through the 20th? 3 cards for Leo, please. 3 cards for lovely Leo. 3 cards. I'm a Leo rising, by the way. 3 cards for Leo. What wonderful. Oh, there we are. 1. Oh, that's so funny. That popped out at me earlier as I was shuffling. Oh, there's 2. And 1 more for Leo, please. 1 more for Leo. 1 more. Oh, that's too many. That was a lot popped out there. 1 more card for Leo, please. Oh, there it is. Oh, I love that. Leo. Okay, we have clarifying cards for Leo. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Leo through these clarifying cards for this coming week? I'm actually recording this on the full moon, guys. Oof, brilliant. 13th, there's a lot going on today. Okay, please clarify There it is. Please clarify. There it is. And please clarify. Oh, look at that. Okay, those came flying out really quickly, didn't they? Okay, let's take a look at your cards, shall we? Here we go. Okay, Leo. The first card out, let me move that out of the way. The first card out for you is the Eight of Wands, clarified by the Knight of Cups. Then you have the Five of Swords, clarified by the Eight of Swords. Then you have the Judgment card, clarified by the Page of Wands. Leo, what's going on? All right, so the first card out is the Eight of Wands. This represents like things are going to start happening really fast. It's like all these opportunities are coming in. It's like you're inundated. It's a busy in a really good busy way. It's like the busy bee, darling. It's like things are happening, moving and shaking, and it's exciting because the ones are passion, they're fire, right? Now, clarifying it is the Knight of Cups. Now, the Knights are all about moving, right? And they're fast energy, and sometimes they don't stay very long. But the Knight is holding out a cup, and this is the gift of love. It can also be the gift of intuition and psychic ability. But you know, when the Knight comes in, he's the Knight on shining armor. It could be a nitrous, whatever your preference is. And coming in and sweeping you off your feet with all this like, excitement. Now, what's really interesting is we have this opposition astrologically between Uranus, the planet of sudden happenings, fast energy, lightning, right? Thunder, bolts and lightning, very, very frightening. I'm going to start singing. Don't let me. So it's very fast energy, right? And it's opposite Venus. So unexpected encounters can happen. The gift of love, something wonderful can come in for you, Leo. Even if you're in a relationship, it can be a resurgence and some kind of excitement, Now, the next card out is the Five of Swords. Now, the Five Swords rules the intellect and communication, right? And the Five of Swords is like when you're in an argument and you kind of want to win it. Now, it's an unwinnable argument. So it's something like politics, or it's something like religion, something where you cannot change the other person's mind. You can't. But, it's like you get on your soapbox so you can't win the argument. And it's when you resort to personal insults or talking to them in a derogative manner or a condescending manner, let's say. So you want to, sometimes you have to know your limitations, and it's much more powerful to step back. You know what? I heard this. Allow the other person to be wrong. How cool is that? So just allow the other person to be wrong. Why don't you? Instead of allowing them to be right. It's best to kind of retreat and say, in your head, you don't have to say that because a lot of people don't like it. It's kind of, it kind of goads them a little when you say, let's agree to disagree. Sometimes that works. Let's agree to disagree. We're not going to change each other's minds, and change the subject and look for something that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Something that is a mutual interest, that you can talk, that that there's, I've done that with my friends. Sometimes we have differences of opinion. We definitely, a lot of my friends have very different views on politics. I'm a person that believes that our richness as a society is in the diversity, and it's not, everyone has a right to believe what they want to be, and it kind of is the tapestry of life. When we try to convince others to have our point of view is when it goes awry. I've been guilty of that. We all are. We all fall into that sometimes. But it's nice to allow someone to have their opinion and, and respect it. Respect that they have that opinion without having to convince them otherwise. So that's something to look for this week. And then you have, clarifying it, is the Eight of Swords. So there's a feeling of entrapment here. And this is a feeling that you can't get out of the situation. So maybe you're already in a situation with this and you feel that you can't get out. But when the Eight of Swords comes into the situation, or into a reading, I should say, the Eight of Swords is an illusion. If she took her blindfold off, she'd see that there's a way out. So it's about not seeing the truth in a situation. It's not seeing all, it's refusing almost to see it. So it's your mind. It's a prisoner, excuse me, you're a prisoner of your mind when you get the Eight of Swords. So, when we're thinking of a solution, we're no longer mired in the problem, right? It's why I called my business liveinthesolution.com. So I did that because it's all, for me, I want to be solution oriented. There was a time in my life where I was just mired in the problem and could not. Oh, no one understands me and I can't. And somebody would suggest something, I can't, but you don't understand, but I can't. Yes, I was that kind of. And, we all go there sometimes. But when we actually open up our minds, right, we take the blindfold off, we kind of say, oh, my God, maybe there is a way out. Maybe there's a choice here. It's like when sometimes said, I had no choice. There's always a choice. It might not be the best choice, but there's always a choice. And so when I say this, it's like, know your limitations, and it doesn't mean that you're defeated by backing out and allowing someone else to be wrong. That's how you look at it, right? There's a solution. There's no, it's a false sense of pride. Let that go. Now, the next card out is the Judgment card. And the Judgment is Pluto, darling. And that's what we're going through, this Pluto T-square. I'm recording this on Sunday. And that's the full moon. The moon's on one side, the sun's on the other, and Pluto's right in the middle, causing this... it's almost like the fight between dark and light, good and evil, that kind of thing. It's like, it's opposing forces. And listen, there is a need for dark forces and dark energy and light energy. We wouldn't know what was light if we didn't have darkness, right? We wouldn't be able to look at the beautiful stars in the sky if there wasn't a black background to contrast it. Yin yang, it's important. It's important, and we all kind of have shadow signs. It's important to embrace everything, the whole of us. Now, I digress, because the Judgment card is a call to duty. Look, he or she, it's gender fluid. It's lovely. It's like he's got wings on his helmet. I'm going to say him just for now. I'll say Shim. So Shim has like wings on his helmet. It's too confusing. I have to think too much. That doesn't work for me. And he's got this bugle, and he's calling, he's bringing things up, because Pluto digs deep and brings stuff up, right? For it to be dealt with. It's okay to go in and clean and get down and dirty. It's like cleaning. It's like organizing and cleaning. When you start organizing and taking things, I've just done this, I was getting all my paperwork from years past, of shredding them from taxes and stuff like that. And then, you find dust and dirt everywhere that you don't see when it's, you have to kind of clean deep. Well, that's what Pluto's doing. It's like cleaning. It's cleaning stuff out. It's bringing stuff up so that we have to deal with it, right? So you have this call to duty. So Leo, if you are not on your life purpose or doing what kind of feeds your soul and lights the fire within you and makes you excited to get up every day and do what you're doing, then perhaps it's time to do some research and look into that, because that's what you are meant to do. And this is an opportunity, because you have the Page of Wands, right? And the Page of Wands is an opportunity coming in, but also pages are about moving on to the next phase of your life. And that's what this is about. This is about you, because pages have been in service to the king and the knight, right? And then at one point they've got to go out and be a knight themselves, don't they? They've done everything they can. They've kind of learned everything. They've been apprenticed for years, and now it's time for them to go out and experience being what they've trained to be for so long. They have enough knowledge, and now they have to kind of go. It's not an easy path to go from, the apprentice. There's a lot of like, oh, can I do it? Can't I? I'm going to fail. There's all that noise in your head, right? But this is a time for you to move on to the next phase of your life. Now, by saying that, I don't mean quit your job or anything. I never, ever would say that to anyone, because that would be completely irresponsible. But in your spare time, you should be working on this. It's like, you can do the research, find out how you can learn to do something that you've always wanted to do. Listen, it was me with astrology. I always was interested in astrology. I used to look at those wheels and long to understand them. I would stare at them thinking if I stared long enough, I'd understand them. And I never believed that I would, that I was smart enough to learn that complex subject. And, and I did, right? I knew enough that, I needed to move on to that phase of my life and study it formally. And little bit by little bit, the doors, it's your life purpose, doors open up. Wonderful teachers appear and things like that. You will, it's like serendipity. Things start to happen because the universe is opening the doors for you to move on. Leo, thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like this video, share it on social media, friends, co-workers, neighbors, family, and comment. I live for comments and feedback. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Mwah! I love you all, and I'll see you next week.